so on to Unit 6, which is pretty much about variation, like genetics, things like that. So it kicks off pretty much with sexual and asexual reproduction, which is obviously linked to genetics because we introduce this idea of being genetically identical, and you've got to say genetically identical. We found that out from the exam last year. So kicks off really thinking about the genetics, thinking about the differences between mitosis and meiosis. So mitosis all the way back to Unit 1, which is pretty much embedded within this idea of the cell cycle. And in mitosis, we look at cells reproducing to form genetically identical copies. So one cell duplicating everything inside it, so undergoing the full set of genetic replication before it undergoes this idea of mitosis, which is one cell dividing to give two genetically identical daughter cells. So all that is back in Unit 1, but here in Unit 6 we've now introduced the idea of sexual reproduction. So we've got to be talking about meiosis. So meiosis is when the gametes are formed. So this only happens in sex organs. So we're talking testes and ovaries within animals, and we're talking within the flowers if flowering plants. So that is the only place where you will find meiosis happening. What does meiosis form? Well, it forms gametes. Genetically different. Genetically different. Different genetically different. So meiosis is dead important. It leads to this idea of a halving of chromosome number. So us humans, we have got a diploid number, so a general chromosome number in all our body cells of 46, whereas during the process of meiosis, when we form gametes, sperm and egg cells, those sperm and egg cells only have 23 chromosomes. So we describe that as being haploid or haploid number. They're genetically different, which is again really important through this process. Also to note within this topic is we've got the one parent compared to two parent issues. So obviously in mitosis seen quite a bit earlier, we've got this idea of cloning where we've only got one parent in that situation. With meiosis we've got two parents because obviously we've got a male generally and a female which are creating sperm and egg cells, and when the sperm and egg cells come together from one from either parent, we've got this idea of fertilization. So in the syllabus it talks about fusion of gametes. We'll generally be talking fertilization, and it can obviously ask you that as we go through. So that's pretty much this little topic. So it's about one of 8 topics in this reproduction. So it's kind of an introduction looking at sexual reproduction, which introduces variety, which is two parents, which is genetically different gametes compared to what we saw earlier with mitosis and the genetically identical cells being produced. Will have been introduced quite a while ago in this idea of clones. So a clone is a genetically identical copy of something else. And that's, I think, pretty much it for this first little section in Unit 6. Okay?
Done.
Okay, let's get some questions done.
Okay, so here we go. We have when humans reproduce. So here we go now. So humans reproducing, got to be sexual reproduction, got to be meiosis. Chromosomes and genes, which we'll come to later in the topic, are passed on to the next generation. So we are passing chromosomes, here they are, and genes, here they are, down to the next generation. How do they get passed down? Well, they're obviously going to be contained within the gametes. In each of the following questions, draw a ring. So I can't draw a ring because I'm going to do it on the computer. You would draw a ring, you would tick or underline, you would draw a ring around the correct answer, singular, to complete the sentence. Nice and straightforward, hopefully. A gene is a small section of. So gene is a small section of. Is it cellulose? Well, that's not going to be cellulose because cellulose is the carbohydrate which gives the cell wall its structure. Is it going to be a protein? No, it's not. proteins, chains of amino acids, so it must be DNA. So a small section of a gene is a small section of DNA. There it is. Next one. So the sex chromosomes. So the sex chromosomes refer to pair 23. So right at the end, if you line the chromosomes up in size order, you get 23 at the end. In the human male, so just got to know this because you've got to learn. We've got Y and Y. Nope. X and X. X and X is a female. So human male are X and Y. Okay. And then we move on to most human body cells. So most human body cells, not all. We've got some exceptions in there. Contain, just be careful of this one. So 23 chromosomes, 46 chromosomes, 92 chromosomes. The trick here is whether they are pairs. So it's not telling us about pairs. So most human body cells contain 46 chromosomes. Yep, just be careful. As I say, it could ask you for pairs. It would be 23 pairs, but it's not asking you for that at all. The number of chromosomes in a human gamete. So remember, gametes are the sperm and egg cells. So the number of chromosomes in a human gamete, it's half the number. So it's not same, it's not twice, it is half. They are referred to as being haploid in number compared to the normal diploid. So diploid number of chromosomes will be 46. In a human gamete, that will be 23. And here we go, gametes, so sperm and egg cells are produced by, is it fertilization? Nope, that's when a sperm fuses or joins with an egg. Is it mitosis? No, that is when we produce genetically identical copies of cells. So gametes are produced in the sex organs by the process of meiosis. And then moving onwards to the next question. We have cell division is needed for growth and for reproduction. Oh, so we've got both different types of cell division going to be asked for. So the cell division for growth is mitosis, that's growth and repair, and for reproduction, so that is producing the sex cells, gametes, sperm and egg cells, and so this is going to be meiosis. So this is one to look at both. So the table below contains 3 statements about cell division. So mitosis and meiosis. Complete the table. Tick 1. Oh, 1's in bold, so we're going to tick 1. 1 box for each statement. So statement number 1, all cells produced are genetically identical. Genetically is important. So what are we looking at on this one? Is it mitosis, meiosis, or both? So genetically identical. Mitosis. There we go. Tick should be ticking. In humans, at the end of cell division, each cell contains 23 chromosomes. So in humans, at the end of cell division, we've got 23 chromosomes. Well, if it was mitosis, they'd be genetically identical, hence having 46. So they must be meiosis, giving rise to 23. And involves DNA replication. Is that mitosis? Is it meiosis? Or is it both? Oh, DNA replication. Well, before cells divide, whether it's mitosis or meiosis, they duplicate everything at the end of the cell cycle in preparation for cell division. And so DNA replication is both mitosis and meiosis. So in mitosis, the DNA replicates and then it splits to give 2 genetically identical cells. And that's that. But in meiosis, the DNA replicates, then it splits to give 2 cells, and then each of those 2 cells splits again, and that's where we have the chromosome number. So that is it for these questions.